Hey friends, welcome to another episode of It's Messy, but It's So Good. And you're in the right place if you love listening to stories of growth, courage, purpose, and transformation. And maybe you're looking for something to help calm your mind, find your own clarity, and you need a dose of creativity to step into a life that truly feels soul-driven. You're in the right place. You can also subscribe to my email list and you can get a free toolkit called Calm Your Anxiety Instantly. And then you'll be able to hear about anything new on the horizon with podcasts and with my coaching practice. So welcome to new listeners, and thank you so much to listeners who have been downloading and following us. And I'm so excited. Today my guest is Kim Gabelmann, and Kim is an author of Conscious Fork, her new book, Nourishing the Mind, Body, and Soil. And this is a beautiful book. It's self-published, and it's a blend of memoir, cookbook, and sustainable living. And Kim shares her journey from corporate America to becoming an entrepreneur and business consultant, and now an author. So enjoy the show. Hey everyone, welcome to It's Messy, but It's So Good. And today I have my friend Kim Gabelmann as a guest. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you for having me, Fran. Finally doing your podcast.
Yeah. And it's really amazing. I say this a lot because I have a lot of guests from the town of Warwick and the outlying communities in the Hudson Valley. There's so many gifted people who are expressing their talents, and I just love having them on. So Kim is another person.
Hey.
And I just want to introduce just a little bit about Kim. She's an author. She has a new book, The Conscious Fork, Nourishing the Mind, Body, and Soil. And she's going to share a lot about that. She's an entrepreneur. She's also a business consultant and founder of The Conscious Fork, which she will share about, and Conscious Fork Publishing. So Kim, again, welcome. It's so nice to have you.
Thanks for having me, Fran.
Okay, so my first question for you is I know a little bit about your story, your passion for food, for sustainability, for entrepreneurship. Can you share how you got started with this passion, what your journey has been?
Well, my journey around getting to where food is, well, first of all, I've been a vegetarian my whole life since I was 10. Mm-hmm. And no one in my life, in my family, no cousins, no friends, nobody I knew was a vegetarian. So start out there that I was like born this way and could never find any place to eat. And growing up, it was just meat filled everywhere, which it still pretty much is. It's much easier now. But, and then discovering the slow food movement in Italy is what really got my passion around food. In terms of being an entrepreneur, I mean, I believe in having many eras in one's life, and that I'm somebody that kind of recreates myself every 7 to 10 years. I'm overdue right now. I'm in a pivot place right now that the book's done. But starting out in the career that I did in media as a career woman in Manhattan has nothing to do with food. So it's an interesting path, because all I wanted to do since the day I graduated college was work up the corporate ladder as a career woman in Manhattan. And I worked at a prestigious ad agency for the first 7 years of my life. There's that number. And then went in my first job in sales to Comedy Central, which was an amazing company and brand. Both of those companies, I experienced a corporate takeover of both the ad agency and Comedy Central, 7 years apart. So I experienced the man coming in and taking over a very creative environment that changed the culture a lot afterwards. And so I left Comedy Central after we after a couple of years after we were part of MTV Networks, and then went to like a dream job at Sundance Channel, which was, I was hired to start a brand new department from the ground up, but within an established organization. So I was the head of branded entertainment and sales, where I brought in like-minded brands to work with us around programming, but we didn't have commercials. So it was, you really had to get to know the partner so that you could integrate them into the programming in a way that the audience wouldn't feel like it was out of place. And there's my cuckoo clock. There's a story about that too. But I would say that at Sundance, so at all these places, I was always kind of like the new business development person, kind of like recreating new things within the corporate environment. And Sundance Channel was really what got my entrepreneurial spirit really alive, because the brand itself stood for something and still does. The founder, Robert Redford, it stands for the environment. It's a platform for artists. And I was so proud to be part of it, and was very successful in finding lots of like-minded partners. And one of the things that we would do with partners is create short-term programming. And so it's not like a commercial. This is going somewhere, I swear. We would create these branded entertainment bits that were like programming. The viewer wouldn't know that it was actually like a commercial. It just seemed like extra content. And we did this one short form series. We did like 30 episodes, 2-minute episodes of these entrepreneurs they were in the corporate world at one point, but they sort of left to go follow something that spoke to them more. I think the show was called Eco Biz or something, but it was, how do we make commerce good for the planet, good for people, and also good for the bottom line? So basically being able to sustain the business so that you can keep going. I wanted to be an eco entrepreneur. I realized that at that moment after doing that series that I was like, I want to do that. It just seemed so like, you could live your life doing something you're passionate about, but still helping others, but still hopefully paying for your bills.
Yeah.
Like, whatever that was, I wanted to do it.
Well, you had all the background for that too. I mean,
there you go. So
it was like a no-brainer, right?
So once Sundance Channel, while I was there at the height of everything, we then experienced a takeover, which I did at the previous two. And it became this huge media empire that our network got sucked into. I got promoted. I did very well, like I always did in these situations. A lot of my colleagues left, or were let go, or it just always changed the culture for the worse. And for someone like me, I like the creative environment. I like the entrepreneurial environment. So I stayed for a couple years, and then I just decided to sell my apartment in Tribeca. Like, once I knew that I was in contract, I went to my boss's office and basically gave notice. And they were just like, no one leaves this path. Like, you can't, like, we're doing this with you. And I said, no, I'm going. And I stayed for 2 months, which is unheard of, because I wasn't going to a competitor. I was literally going to my car with my dog and driving across the country to figure out whatever was next. So that's what happened. I found a home in Warwick, and that's how I ended up here. And that's how I met you. My mom moved here when I was in college, and I kind of loved the idea of it being so close to the city, 55 miles or something, but yet it felt like Vermont. So it was the best of both worlds. I spent the first 2 years before figuring out what I was going to do, literally driving cross country 3 different times in 2-year span with my dog, just sort of checking out the food scene, visiting friends. I was taking the Institute of Integrative Nutrition's health coaching course while I was on the road. Took a year. So like, I like to check a lot of boxes at the same time. And I realized that when I was all across the country, I couldn't find anything to eat. It wasn't like traveling in Europe or like the smaller little town you'd go into and they would have like locally made, salads. And I mean, it's the opposite is what I was finding here. And I would go sometimes 2 hours out of my way or longer to know where I could find something like organic or, it didn't even have to be vegan. I'm vegetarian. It was just, I realized if you're ever in the middle of nowhere, you can still find a kid's grilled cheese they usually have like a kid's menu. Sometimes that's the only thing. So that was sort of like the path that motivated me to come up with Conscious Fork. And I first came up with the name Conscious Fork, which was, it has several meanings. It's about clean food, eating vegetarian. It means pitchfork, how the food is grown. It means being conscious at the forks in the road in life, that these decisions can set you on your journey. And then also Gabelmann, which is my last name, means fork man in German. So it just kind of like was an epiphany moment, the name. And from there, I had to figure out whatever the business was going to be. Yeah. I had the name, I had the website, I had the name. And then it really became about the passion for food became like, I moved to Warwick and might as well do something with food because I needed some place to eat also. So, again, it hits a lot of boxes. So I discovered juice cleanses at a time when I was working like a maniac in the corporate world, back and forth to LA every other week. Juice cleanses really saved me and it was such a good tool. So the first Conscious Fork was about having a juice bar and providing juice cleanses and a very small menu of all vegan food, but all made from scratch, whole ingredients, mostly local if possible. And then
there wasn't anything like that.
There wasn't. And it's still hard, right? I mean, but what I realized at that time also from driving cross country 3 different times in 2 years was that it is a destination. This type of food people will go out of their way for. So a lot of people came up to me and saying, oh, Warwick, like, I can't believe you're going to open this in Warwick. They like their pizza and their hamburgers here. It's like, yeah, everywhere. But I don't know if you ever went to our original one, but it was like this teeny tiny little space on a very side street in a small town to begin with. It was not about foot traffic. It was just about existing, and people will find us because they'll go out of their way. So it became more of a regional hotspot than just a Warwick local place. But in a very short time, in a little over a year, we moved because we outgrew the space so quickly, and then moved to a place that was triple our size, and we tripled our business and tripled our size like basically overnight. And that's when we were in that second space is really when it became a community hub. Mm-hmm. And I think that really connected, again, going back to like Sundance, I wanted to create my own Sundance, whatever that was, a brand that stood for something.
Go biz.
What's that? Yes.
Go biz.
Right. It stands for something. It's more than just a mechanism to make money. It's a platform for doing the things that you feel strongly about, which is sustainable food. And it was the arts. And our venue quickly became a venue for lots of art shows. And I was able to work with so many different local artists. We had huge walls, so it was just perfect for that. And it just kind of took on a life of its own. The hardest part about all this stuff, I realized, is staffing, and everyone always laughs because I say this, is that I love startups. Even within the corporate environment, I was starting up little departments, but starting up my own businesses. But I realized I don't like operating businesses as much. So I have started a bunch of businesses, even just in this area. So what I usually do is like start it up, get it off the ground, and then spend the next 6 years figuring out how to get out of it. It's kind of silly, but it is like my art in a lot of ways. I love business plans. I love DIY. I love, kind of like creating things that for the world that are good, but like, it's like art. It's not just a business plan, right?
Yeah, it's very creative.
Yes.
It's your stamp on things and your heart, infused into it.
It is. But then what comes with it is managing a huge staff, so going back to the beginning is that, having lots of eras in your life, I'm at one of those places right now. This is the very first time in 15 years that I don't have a brick and mortar. I don't have a staff to operate. So that's why it was getting the book done. I have a whole, list of other projects that I'm able to put my attention to now that I'm not sort of weighed down by all that overhead. And even though the business was fabulous and Conscious Fork operated for 12 years, and people tell me all the time how they miss it. I mean, that's just like a little bit of a segue here to the book, is that I was trying to, capture some of the essence of that physical place, Conscious Fork, that existed, that vegans, vegetarians, omnivores, meat eater, all types of people came. I mean, it was a real special place that I'm trying to have the pages of this book sort of take on some of that essence. It's like a love letter to that place and the people that made it and the food that made it. So, so I'm excited for this next chapter, no pun intended, just for, the next little bit, just promoting the book and working on some of these other projects.
Can you share a little bit more about what the book has?
Yes. So it's part memoir. So there is storytelling of my life, mixed in, but it's, it's part cookbook, but that's the bulk of the material, is over 100 recipes from Conscious Fork, our most popular, soups to proteins to sandwiches to salads, dressings, juices, you name it. We could have probably done 3 more books of all the recipes we have that came out of that place, because we did so much specials and things based on local ingredients. So the book has over 100 of those most popular recipes, all very simplified, made from whole ingredients. So that's the recipe side. And then the first half of the book is the Nourishing the Mind, Body, and Soil, is kind of representative of those 3 forks we were just talking about. So mind is like the forks in the road. The body is the clean eating, and then the soil is the pitchfork section. So it's not huge. It's very easy reading. A lot, it's been out for like 3 weeks already, and I'm getting such great feedback. A lot about how simple it is to follow, and it feels like you're talking to a close confidant. And that makes me feel really happy, because I really tried to like distill it down into language that anyone could pick up. Yeah. I mean, I have a friend that in the city that her mom is far from vegan, but she just keeps picking up the book. She's like, "Mom, you're not vegan. Why?" Oh, it's just so interesting. I just love all the factoids. So yeah. It really is something for everyone. The forks in the road section is kind of about manifesting. People always say, you're a master manifester. You do what you say you're going to do. So much of it is just knowing what you want or knowing what you don't want. And I think, and a lot of the work you do, Fran, with, accessing soul work and everything is so important, because I think in this day with people with like technology and just overwhelmed, it's so hard to even access what it is you want. How can you manifest it if you don't know what you want? Yeah. So the first section of the book is just like a few of those little steps to try to help get some of that clarity. Very simple, even if it's just rolling things out. And then the second part of the book is a little bit more about being a vegetarian and how people don't realize that all your nutrition needs can come from plants.
Right.
I mean, we think that, oh, but what about your protein? There's more protein in plant-based food than any meat that you're having. And the book is also very much not about shaming you if you eat meat at all, because I know the world that we live in, my whole family. I mean, it's about adding some other types of food into the rotation, which will like slowly crowd out some of the, and I mean, everyone knows eating a little less meat, even if they eat meat, is probably not the worst thing to do. Mm-hmm. And if you are going to eat meat, you have to be a conscious carnivore and know that, you know, that the animals are treated well, because if you're buying meat from places that are these slaughterhouses where the animals are living in terror and fear and jacked up with hormones and jacked up with everything, then what do you think that meat is that you're eating? You're eating that flesh that's terrified and also that's got all these extra chemicals in it that you wouldn't normally. So it's really just about providing some very clean, whole foods that are delicious, comfort foods, and throw it into the rotation sometimes.
Yeah, you know, I just wanted to share because I did purchase the book, and I also purchased for my daughter and sent it off to her and her husband. It's a beautiful book.
Thank you.
It's very personal. It's laid out very beautifully, the photography, and I'm not a person that follows recipes. In fact, I'm not the best cook in the world. I'm an okay cook. I'm the type.
But you can read, and if you
I can read, and I've already made recipes from the book, and they're simple.
Yes,
I only like to cook when I want to cook, and this is motivating to me because it's simple to follow and they're healthy.
That's it. I mean, even a dressing, if you make a dressing, it's once you realize, you know, it's like 3 ingredients, it's like you'll never buy a bottle of dressing again in the grocery store. Because why? Like it's just got all these extra preservatives, and, you know, you can just make it simply with 3 ingredients from your pantry.
Exactly.
So the book is really about trying to get people the tools and the info in their hands so that they can do this stuff for themselves. We served people for over 12 years in the restaurant, and now I'm hoping to kind of give all these answers away and so that people can do this on themselves, for themselves. I mean, we live in a society that we're so dependent on outside things for everything, and you know, there's more pressure on our grid. There's more pressure on food supply. So having control over some of these things is like a good idea for yourself and your family.
Yeah. And I also want to mention that you actually published the book yourself. You created the Conscious Fork Publishing. Can you share, you know, for people listening that are inspired by your creativity and maybe they have something within their hearts that they want to put out there, whether it be a book or something else, can you share a little bit about some of the challenges and how you overcame that? Because, I mean, to take on creating your own publishing is a company is a whole new thing. And yes, it's small and, you know, you have 1 book so far, but I think it can be a little overwhelming to look at that. And you do have that curiosity. You're a self-starter and you like to research and you know, but can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges and how you move through them?
For the publishing part of it?
Yes. And that can, you know, also be understood in other areas, whatever people are inspired to do.
Well, so again, I started my career in media and in a different part of media, but I've spent the last 15 years operating all different, you know, wellness and food businesses. And I knew that I was working on this book from the first year I opened Conscious Fork. Hannah Maxwell was the photographer. She's an amazing local photographer. She also is the founder of the Hudson Valley Film Fest. She's an amazing entrepreneur too. But the amount of photo shoots that we did is like mind boggling. Like, but I'm talking about like in like 20 13 and like really long time ago. But I knew that I was just collecting this content to eventually put this all together. Because this and the whole store, everything was content. The farm, we had like a black dirt farm for 3 years. I mean, there was so much content that I was living in it. And now I'm kind of just trying to like put some of that stuff down on paper and connect, coming back into media. A different form of media is like sort of almost like a full circle moment for me. Mm-hmm. And the reason I wanted to start my own publishing as opposed to just putting the book out and not have any, because I was self-publishing. I knew that because I knew I just wanted the book to be how I wanted it to be. And plus I knew the photography was great. And I knew, once I kind of put it out there, would allow me maybe to do other books after. But I mean, I'm planning on having most of these recipes on a YouTube channel, the Conscious Fork YouTube channel. Maybe by the time this podcast comes out, there'll be some of them up there. But so the publishing umbrella is sort of all those media things that I'm going to be doing, whether it's the content on the YouTube or just wherever it heads. But it's kind of all things. And like I said, I can't help being a DIY entrepreneur. I have to always learn how to, create my own LLCs. I had a liquor license at Conscious Fork. I got all that myself. I've done that now for other people. I've Board of Health stuff. I like to walk through all like the compliance and what are all like the things you need to have first, and then sort of back into everything else that you need. And the publishing company, I mean, it's basically a LLC. It's a legal entity that exists that, yes, it only has one book under it right now, but it may have others or other media that's part of this will be under that. But also, as a health coach, as a business consultant, as somebody that's worked one-on-one with a lot of big companies, small companies, individuals, it's also another tool that I can offer people that if they are, they do have that book in them, or they don't know where to start. It's another knowledge base that I have, that because even since I've done it, I've had a few people come up to me and say like, oh, could I publish under Conscious Fork Publishing, like my book of poems or my book? So yeah, I never really thought of that as being, but who knows where it all will head. But basically I'm in control of it. So that's the way I like it.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you say is the biggest personal gift you've received from your passion journey and where you are today, where you have seen, it's like you said, full circle. So, and there's more to come, of course, but what would you say is the biggest gift that you have received through going through your whole journey?
Well, I guess the biggest is inspiring others. I know, and also just providing the food and everything that we've done. The juice cleanses were huge too. So it makes me feel good to have a business that every person that buys the product, is doing something good for themselves at the same time. And that, and creating that community around all those people. Because even the people that worked at Conscious Fork, and, they worked there because they were proud to, because every person, again, no offense to, people that work at bars or anything like that. I couldn't do that. I like going to bars, but I don't like, I can't just do something just for the money or just for, you have to, whatever you like to do. If you like talking to people, you can be work in the service industry, but for, it makes me feel good to know that even if I don't know where all of this is going for me, that at least on each step, I know that I'm putting something good into the world as opposed to taking something out. That's really that's what keeps me going. Like, okay, well,
Yeah, you feel the authenticity and the integrity, you know, of putting out something that you love, something that's creative and something that's serving the world.
Right.
So,
And if you love something so much that
mhm.
usually it's easier to sell
Yeah,
as opposed to just selling something for the sake of selling it, which I can't.
yes,
Yeah.
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 So I just wanted to also, as far as contacting you, I'm going to have everything on the show notes, all of your contacts, your website, Instagram. If you would love to if you would love to purchase this book, which also, now that we're coming around for the holidays, it's a beautiful gift um,
Yes. I
to
agree.
give to people. We will have the link for purchasing the book. It's very easy. I did it, and it's 1, 2, 3, gets mailed out. And it's just a beautiful book.
The Conscious Fork website has all that local pickup, but in the next couple weeks I'll be announcing more retailers that it's going to be in locally.
Mhm.
And we've been doing some events, so like big book signing events too, but it's very easy to just buy it on the website. It will be on like the larger distributors in like a few months. I kind of just wanted to like take the first window to do it direct.
Right.
And it will probably be a different book that ends up on the like Amazon platforms and all that. It'll be probably like a soft cover, and a couple of the bells and whistles that are in this one won't exist. So this is really a limited edition also. But yeah. And then what my goal was actually to get it translated into Spanish and German was like my first so that when I did publish it onto the bigger platforms, that it will be available in those two languages.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. I say that now. Let's see where I get.
Oh, it's an intention for the future.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Kim. It's, I didn't know your whole story, and I was amazed on really the evolution of where you are now. And I just love the book, and I thank you so much for sharing your passion with us. And we know that it gets messy sometimes, but it's so good, right?
Making hummus is very messy.
That's right. So thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you so much, Fran.
Okay.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in. And I want to thank Kim so much for sharing your journey. Some of the podcast highlights were the birth of the Conscious Fork, and this was inspired by her cross-country travels, where she couldn't find any healthy options, and she founded a vegan restaurant and cafe called the Conscious Fork in Warwick, New York, and this soon became a hub built around conscious eating, sustainability, and creativity. And Kim shared a lot about letting go of her corporate America life, which she enjoyed, but she was ready for entrepreneurship and more balance in her life. And then turning her cafe into a movement, her new book, The Conscious Fork, Nourishing the Mind, Body, and Soil. And this is a fantastic book that would make a beautiful holiday gift. It's rich with very easy recipes that you can follow from all parts of the world. And if you'd like to purchase the book, you can go directly to Kim's website, www.consciousfork.com. And this is, as I said, a great gift for the holidays. You can also reach Kim on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and of course through LinkedIn as well, and through her website. So feel free to contact Kim with any questions, and also if you're interested in business consultation. Okay, so thank you again for listening, and I just want to remind you that we're now on YouTube, and all of my contacts are also in the show notes as well as Kim's. So Take care, and we'll see you next time.